as we head into Night of Champions. And we have to talk about the main event first. We have to talk about the triple threat match. Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship against Gunther and Sami Zayn in a triple threat match. Of course, this comes off the heels of the controversial SmackDown match with a fast count from Sami Zayn, and then Sami Zayn causing the disqualification and hitting Cody Rhodes with the belt, and yada, yada, yada. Andy, what did you think of what we saw on Friday night before we start diving into the match coming up this weekend?
Two things. I think it's a interesting way to set up the triple threat, and I think it's storyline wise, it makes a lot of sense doing what they did.
Yep.
The only downside I see is that it kind of makes Gunther look like an idiot for picking Sami to be the special guest referee, and then everything happening that happened.
Right.
It makes him look not the brightest, which
is what we've said for the last couple of weeks, man. It seems like ever since he got to SmackDown, we had such high hopes after the first week, especially. And then after that, it's like, he feels like an idiot.
Yeah. Which you're talking about the guy that retired 3 legends within a span of like 6 months. And just, it's ridiculous how bad he has been booked the last couple of months. And so I think that's like my biggest downside to what happened on Friday. But I do think it's setting up something interesting to take place at Night of Champions. I don't know what's exactly going to happen, but I do think it's an interesting setup, and it's an interesting match, and it's a great way to deviate from the last Cody Gunther match and really the entire story of Cody and Sami. So I think it's a great setup for it. I'm just very cautious about what's going to happen and what's going to happen next.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to make our picks. We're going to dive into scenarios for all 3 guys, because Andy, I think this is as unpredictable as a Cody Rhodes match has been in quite some time. So we're going to dive into all that. We want to hear from you. If you're live with us here on YouTube, drop those comments in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can drop your comments in as well. We'll make sure to go back and get each and every one of those. Andy, I was a big fan of what happened on Friday night. Like you said, it's different. I thought the way they shot it with Gunther and Nick Aldis getting into it backstage and then doing the split screen with Cody coming back out and saying restart the match, Sami Zayn getting attacked, and then of course Sami coming out and, like I showed you a minute ago on the YouTube channel, decking Cody, slapping Gunther across the face. I think that was actually during the match, ultimately leaving them both laying, Sami Zayn standing tall, holding the championship, Cody Rhodes being the one, Andy, requesting the triple threat match, which again, we all knew that's sort of where this was headed. Like you said, a very interesting way to get there. What do you think? I feel like it's unpredictable. I really feel like that there's scenarios that I'm going to present to you here in just a second that each guy could win this match, and it makes total sense because there's a path for everybody, because we can't forget about the history with Gunther and Sami either.
Yeah, I think there is a very low chance that Sami wins. I think he is firmly in this match to eat the pin, more likely than not. I think that's kind of his role. Okay. Honestly, the way I see this triple threat is as the way to get the title off of Cody without him having to eat the pin.
Okay.
And so am I shocked if Cody wins and retains the championship? Absolutely not. Am I shocked if Gunther chokes out Sami to win the championship? Absolutely not. Am I shocked if Sami wins? I'm probably going to be pretty shocked if Sami wins, to be real honest with you. I don't see everything that happened leading up to WrestleMania, them putting the WWE Championship on him. I can't see that happening right now.
Well, let me push back for just 1 second, and I'm going to hold you to a prediction that you have had ever since the WrestleMania Saudi Arabia announcement, and that would be that Sami Zayn would be crowned champion in Saudi Arabia at that WrestleMania. Here, he gets a championship opportunity in Saudi Arabia. It's not WrestleMania. So are you sort of down on that now? Do you think it's sort of changed? I
don't think he's winning the championship. I don't
Okay.
think he's winning a WWE Championship at this point. I think
Hmm.
it's too little too late for his for this version of Sami.
I
But
got you.
then, like, I don't. They haven't done enough to make a lot of people care about a championship run for Sami Zayn. Do I wish that this was still the plan and that all of this was happening? Absolutely, I do. Like, I think that would be a great way to have him win a championship is in Saudi Arabia and have that whole moment. I don't right now. I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think they have deviated away from that, and it's probably not what's going to happen.
City Kitty live with us in the chat. Hey, Andy, who's that stranger hosting with you tonight? Well, I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm very glad to be back talking wrestling with you guys again. I like what we saw on Friday. Very unique, and I'm anxious to see what's going to happen this coming Saturday at Night of Champions in this triple threat match. Now, let's look at it. We thought going into Clash in Italy that Gunther was going to come out on top. Both of us were like, it's locked. There's no way that Cody is walking out champion. And he did, of course, by the skin of his teeth or by the foot under the bottom rope, whichever you prefer to say. So let's look at the scenario of Gunther winning this championship. If he wins, he is like, there's a chance he's going to get the King of the Ring winner. It's either Obafemi or Jey Uso. I think you and I can agree that we don't want to see him face Jey Uso again. But I predicted a couple of weeks ago that it would be very interesting for Obafemi to cross brands and face Gunther rather than Roman Reigns in more of an unpredictable, you don't paint yourself into a corner type situation because you really don't know what's going to happen at that point. Having said that, Andy, that opens up the door for a fantastic match between Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. You can throw a no holds barred in there. You can just do a straight up wrestling match. And then, Andy, we could see Cody chase the championship, I don't know, all the way to Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, something like that. But then you could also see him get a rematch at SummerSlam for it. So to me, that's what Gunther's scenario looks like. Do you see anything else with Gunther winning for Sami or for Cody?
I think if Gunther wins, it's probably going to be a rematch against Cody at SummerSlam.
Okay.
If Sami wins, I think it's probably I think whoever wins that is not Cody Rhodes, they will be facing Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship.
Okay.
I think if Cody wins, it kind of shuts the door on both guys. And I don't know, unless Drew, like a returning Drew McIntyre, is who we get for Cody.
I would say, and this is sort of skips ahead a little bit to our King of the Ring prediction, but that's okay. There's more to talk about with that match than just who wins. I would say that if Cody comes out champion, we get a Gunther and Sami match at SummerSlam.
Probably.
Straight up, no title, no anything. And I say that just because of the way that Friday night happened, the way that because in just reading the results, because I read the results before it happened, and I immediately thought, okay, Cody Sami makes the most sense. If, Gunther's going to win, it's going to be Cody Sami. And then watching it, I almost went, there's just as much beef with Gunther and Sami. They could easily take this at least into Saturday night's main event in the middle of July and have a match there if it's not SummerSlam. But we saw the confrontation, the interaction between Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes, planting this seed for Jey Uso to win the King of the Ring, which again, we'll talk about in a minute. But that is a very real possibility for Cody Rhodes. And Andy, Obafemi is a very real possibility for Cody Rhodes too. I think that's less likely if Cody ends up retaining. It's a good thing that we're going to see the King of the Ring final first.
Yeah, I think the King of the Ring final will tell a lot about the main event. Like if Jey wins, there is a 0.0% chance anybody else wins the main event other than Cody.
Right.
Like Cody's walking out as champ if Jey wins the King of the Ring tournament. I think it's very intriguing. Like there's a lot of directions to go for Cody post SummerSlam. Because I think there's still a world where like Jay doesn't win or doesn't win King of the Ring, but still faces Cody at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship
100%.
one way or another.
Yep.
So like, that's more than likely the direction that they're going to head in if Cody wins. I think there's so much more intrigue with Gunther or Sami winning because of the fact that, one, Cody's going to be chasing them automatically, and so that is a big step. But then, two, like, you got to think you're going to have Drew McIntyre coming back at some point.
Yep.
You're going to have Kevin Owens coming back at some point. I mean, could you imagine a feud between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens finally for the WWE Championship? Like that is a big time feud to finally have happen. Drew McIntyre can go after Gunther at some point. You know, Sheamus is always right around the corner when it comes to Gunther. I always think of those three kind of together because of what they did at WrestleMania 39.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of intrigue, but there's a lot of new directions they can go in with the WWE Championship that I think is so important because of the fact that I feel like both championships do not feel important right now.
Sure.
Like, I think both world titles, honestly, I think all four world titles on the men's, like both men's and both women's world titles, do not feel important right now.
Well,
and so I think they got to work on making the title feel important once again.
Having Rhea Ripley injured certainly hurts one of those world titles. And I looked at the calendar today. We're 6 weeks away from SummerSlam, and we were complaining about the build to WrestleMania until about 6 weeks before, and that's when we started to feel it. So I think once we get past Night of Champions, we'll start to feel that build for SummerSlam, and maybe these titles, maybe your mind will change. I don't know. I think this title feels more important than the World Heavyweight Championship. I think
I agree.
This one right here feels super, super important right now. I'll give you one more scenario as we close up this discussion, because we got a lot to cover with Night of Champions, 5 more matches on the card, a 6-match card, Andy. One more scenario that is a new direction for Cody Rhodes if he retains the WWE Championship, and that's CM Punk. We saw it teased after WrestleMania. We've seen it teased since Punk has been on the roster.
Yeah.
No bigger platform to have Cody Rhodes and CM Punk if you're outside of WrestleMania. No bigger platform than SummerSlam. And we talked about it at WrestleMania season. Which main event was going to be bigger? Was it Punk Roman or was it Cody Randy? Well, you got to compete with Roman and Oba. Let's just say that. Or you got to compete with Oba Brock. How are you going to do that? Cody Punk on the other side makes a world of sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that should be saved for Mania. Like, I feel like that should be the next Mania match for both guys, just because it adds a lot of freshness to Mania for both of them.
Yep.
But I'm never going to complain when we get Cody and Punk together. Like, right. I think the promo stuff that we've already gotten has been amazing. You add even more fuel to that fire. And then you've got two guys who really, like, they wrestle kind of an old school way, but in a new way. Like, they're old school style, but it's a new kind of old school. And I think they will just absolutely tear the house down whenever they wrestle.